Thank you. First poem kind of gets into a little bit of mathematics called probability. Probability is a branch of mathematics and generally used by engineers and business people to determine how likely is an event supposed to happen. And usually that can be predicted fairly well, and if you know whether an event is going to happen, you automatically know when it's not going to happen also, or what the probability of that is. What becomes very difficult is when you have many, many different events, hundreds, and the question is, what is the probability of all of them happening over a certain time? That becomes a very difficult problem, and that is what it's about. It's called accidentally, of course. The heat is unusual downtown, and the noise of the sour maiden, excuse me while I get my glasses out of the way, the noise of the Sour Maiden eatery bar is loud. A band is playing very badly, a rock standard, and 2x4 groups are perched outside on cement and lawn, what there is of it. The neon sign is lit and casts an amber glow on faces and bare legs as couples push either in or out the swinging door. Not a place for deep contemplation, yet mind seems to pick its time and site. Would that I were a deep philosopher to relate this time and place to a world not that different. A place of sustenance, song, and love, not all necessarily in sync with each other. In fact, usually happening in opposite menus, many times unrecognizable and certainly not supporting each other. And yet there are those who say there is no central plan or design for the world, that life is simply a biological accident on a ball of matter that is also an accident, even though it accidentally has all the necessities of life, and there is no supreme being. Yet the wonder is that we do sing and love, write music and novels and works of math, and at times even help each other, and in time provide for the unfortunate. Also, we marry, have children, support our families, and even build places like hospitals and asylums and schools, and the structures to make them possible. All things that would be provided by a loving God. This poem is called Gift of a Ball, and it won a prize at the Ventura poetry contest a few years ago. Give a ball to a friend, a late birthday gift with some heft. Most, I learned, would deride such a gift. What can one do with a marble ball, diameter 5 inches exactly? Not something to play baseball, would break the bat. Too small for basketball, wouldn't want to drop it on a foot. Besides, the person for whom it was meant has limited eye input. It is hard to enjoy a ball of stone with limited sight. Not since the first desire upon seeing something beautiful is to touch, to measure, by feeling delight. At times, hard to keep hands off, for the sensations become enjoyment to the mind, the cool, hard surface, or warm, soft, yielding skin over body. Each has its own pleasure defined. Holding the marble ball also invokes imagination, visions, and kismet. The grasp of a small hand, the feel of the rich fur of a beloved pet, warmth of a first kiss, cold nose against a cheek, hot breath against ear and neck, touch of soft warmth between lovers as they learn desire and check. Clearly, everyone should have at hand a marble ball to hold in times of stress, bewilderment, or demand. It should be large enough, however, so it can't be swallowed in times of melancholy, or never. This is called The Great Tool Shed Robbery. The night was clear, the moon was somewhat full. Day's work endorsed sleep, the bed did not pull. What did I see through my window but light in the shed, where the tools are spread? Telling the wife I'd be back, I scurried downstairs, the matter to put secure. But as I opened the back door, what did I see but 7 thieves stealing tools from me? One had my lawnmower, another my axe, a third was making off with a fertilizer sack. There were dozens of tools and possessions costing hundreds of dollars from my pension. Closing the door, I reached for the phone, dialed the police, got the sergeant, but he was not alone. I'm being robbed, as terrible as can be. The thieves in my tool shed, I can plainly see. They're taking my livelihood, the things I use to keep up the house, plus for my produce. Collected for many a year, carvings and notions, stock from my store, dandelion spray and potions. The sergeant sighed, and I heard the clink, the coffee cup made in the sink. From the drone of a few voices heard one quip, I got a full house, and the click of a poker chip. Busy tonight, squad cars aren't short supply. Just lock the doors of your house, we'll be by and by. But what about my tools, my camping equipment? From the sergeant, there would be no comment. I waited a full 3 minutes, watching more treasure leaving my fold, camping tent and stove and lures, table saw and etching kit and box of fishing rods. Phoned and dialed again, figured they'd need a prod. Hey, Sarge, I called a while ago about my tool shed. You can forget it. The thieves are all dead. I went out with my shotgun, nailed the first one full in the chest, a double barrel burst. Got the next two with one shell, killed the rest, didn't see any reason to allow them to live and protest. So you see, there's no need to come tonight at all. No reason to interrupt that card game, you all have a ball. And hung up the phone, poured a cup of coffee, sat down, and in minutes, suddenly 10 squad cars came from town. Drove into the house backyard, 4 EMTs came running with stretchers as helicopters joined the game. They caught the thieves red-handed, most of my goods already in a truck driven by 2 girlfriend hoods. Thought you said you'd kill them, the sergeant exclaimed. Thought you said there were no cars available, I claimed. This is called frayed edge or get a grip. My brother, I hear the frayed edge in your voice. There is a call resplendent as the cry of a crow, which is to most is harsh and low, but has a sonic so high as to be almost unheard. I want to assure understanding, but hesitate, or is that the tuned organ note that comes out to be played for such lines? Are they instead the headlights showing us the bouncing raindrops on the slick street blackness, shielding when, how, and why? Can it be true that life leaves after what bodies can no longer provide a refuge, sucked to some pleasant sanctuary where good and evil are sorted out for a final reward? The tides of the ocean, life itself formed by an act of pleasure, some call evil, the misfortunes that may teach, all confuse us while we ask God to forgive and enrich our understanding simply for our belief. We suffer, learn, lose hope, are thrilled by beauty, mystified by the confusing logic, yet received the undeserved warmth of life and promise. Whatever causes the misdirection of the day or night is temporary as time, which changes by the microsecond to our final destination and understanding. It's a little bit early, but it's called Halloween Cat. I once saw a Halloween cat, all slick and shiny and fat, her green eyes reflecting the world, stars, moon, and night damp, as she sat on All Saints' Eve by a street lamp. She looked at me and said, "Me now." But I said, "No, not now, though the night be slow, my home and hearth wait." The Halloween cat lift the claws on her paw. If not now, when? It is almost a natural law. "What do you mean when?" I asked in desperation. This cat was offering nothing less than temptation. The cat was offering, "Don't you have a home and a fireplace whither to go? Don't you tire of sitting in the cold by lamplight? Don't you fear the darkness may bite?" The Halloween cat said, "Me now. Been waiting for you." "Waiting for me? How silly can a cat be? My existence is solitary, a man without strife. I need not your shining green eyes or slick black hair, nor your tempting words, feline promises, and seductive air. The cat twitched her tail. Very confident and serene, so sure of her plan and dream. She got up, took my arm, and with a swish and saunter, her shining green eyes steered the way to my abode. For after all, a cat has no master, or so I've been told. Heart races. I listened while the lecturer expounded with the intricate equations of an infinite series, faultless logic, and physical proofs showing beyond the shadow of a doubt that the universe existed, that our reality was not simply imagination of a supermind, that our world was built upon more than a deep thought. Then I left the room and watched the sunset, and my heart raced at the colors and hues that aroused my mind beyond all comprehension. Bewitched, the spell is upon you. October moon hides in earth's shadows, safe from hunters in the tranquility sea, who have been lucky on occasions, asteroids plummeting her surface, making rips and holes we see. For there is no air to burn them to cinders and debris. Do you believe in witches? Of course you do. In spite of your sophisticated denials of bravely walking by graves, calling such beliefs untrue, for at midnight they meet, sabbats have been held. And guess what? To discuss you. You never worried about being enchanted, never thought about being spelled today, always got your way at meetings, made people angry at play, always unavailable for dues to pay when gritty work had to be done, snubbed ones for not wearing whites after May. Did you possibly offend? Could you have tripped the temper switch? Witches are normally quite nice, except one tweaks their nose, and then they may call bitch. Very angry they can become and deserve the title, that damned witch. Does luck seem to have run out? Did your car have a flat today? Does everything fall when you reach? Did your pen run out at the bank? Did the cop give you a ticket to pay? Did you arrive late for court? Did the judge add on 10 days? Sounds like you've been bewitched, a green spell hanging over you. Someone has hauled out the eye of newt, mixed in potions of beetle sweat, added a waft of your hair and dew, all boiled in a cauldron of weed sap. Best consult a genie to see what to do. Could be hopeless, however. Have you developed a taste for flies and cheese? Life as a toad or mouse is not unpleasant as it seems. That is, hopping about here and there as you please. A new lifestyle just for you, for gossiping about witches' knobby knees. Heartbreak. Everybody's eventually going to have a heartbreak if you haven't had one already. Somebody you really are serious about finds out they're not very serious about you. People leave people all the time. The only thing you can say is that the ones that have the heartbreak can find or should find a way of overcoming that. And that's what this is about. Good morning, heartbreak. I see you've come back. Why am I not surprised? You're consistent about that. At least it's a bright day. I'm going out for some fun. Like to come and play. Good morning, lover. Least I can dream. When you looked into my eyes, you must have seen I'm just not over you, no matter how I sound, no matter what I do. Good morning, partner. We were so in love and hot. Then it had happened to us. Somebody, please, tell me what. Of course, we met somebody new. Maybe words were sugar-coated, but did they ever say, I love you? Good morning, honey. That was your name, you see. Did you ever mention to him that you were married to me? Not that I should care, not that it would matter. Still, it's hard to bear. Good morning, sugar and spice. I thought girls were made that way. So what happened to the recipe? Why did our affair turn out so gray? What didn't this mate do? What could have killed the flame? What was it happened to you? Good morning, heartbreak. I see you're moving out, taking clothes and favorite discs, taking some of mine too, no doubt. They say it's easy, so it would seem. I have news for them. It's not easy finding another dream. Good morning, phone. Why would anybody call so soon? Why would I answer this gray day? Why would I answer this side of noon? Why would I impose my dark mood? Why on a friend or even a stranger? Why can't I be alone to brood? Hello, ponytail. Of course I do recall you with the blonde hair, you with the angel face and all. Frankly, I'm kind of bereft. The place is empty now. My significant other just left. I'm wearing a sad mask to the ball. Hello, grapevine. When did you hear? You want to move in and take her place? Replace the mate I held so dear? Fill the void just like that? You think I can forget so fast? Well, can you get here in 10 minutes flat? This is called Hello, Little Darling, and it's about a father that calls home. And those of us have traveled at times in our work. Occasionally we call home to check on everything that's there. And once I made a mistake. I called the wrong number. And that kind of stirred this one up. Hello, little darling, bubbled the father, as a 6-year-old girl answered the phone. Have you been busy today? I called a while ago and nobody was home. Oh yes, Uncle Amos took us for a ride in his big car, and we went to the zoo and we all had lots of popcorn and soda, and Mommy went too. There was a pause as a mind began to piece and put together the information obtained, and the birds sang and the bees buzzed and danced to a merry tune, until a question reigned. But little darling, you've no Uncle Amos. Oh, yes, we do, assured the little girl, and he and Mommy are up in the bedroom right now looking at pictures they won't show me. Another pause, and the mind worked hard to assimilate what the child had for news, for while the birds sang in the built nests as the band played some mournful blues. Little darling, do me a favor and go up and pound on that bedroom door and yell, Daddy's car just drove up in front. Will you do that for me? Little darling giggled, for she loved jokes. And the couples danced 2/4 time, for the music was swell and the band was fine, as watched by the squirrels and blue jays stealing bugs from the sparrows in the Ponderosa pine. I did it, giggled the little girl after a while. Well, little darling, what happened that was so cool? They jumped out of bed, and Uncle Amos jumped off the window above the swimming pool. And Mommy screamed and ran around until she tripped and hit her head on a chair, and she's just laying there rubbing her hair. Swimming pool? Asked the father. Still another pause to allow nature to take its course, the neurons to flash, the quarks to position as up quarks or down quarks, or that really strange freak of nature, strange quarks within the ion. Little darling, we don't have a swimming pool. Oh, yes, we do. And Uncle Amos forgot you'd let all the water out. And he's laying at the bottom groaning. Finally, the last pause as the clouds gathered and then blew away, taking whatever meaning could be just in the father's mind, for nothing was adding up at all. Little darling, is your name Jenny Fisk? No, giggled the little girl. I bet you're not my dad. You better believe I'm not, little darling. Do you know how to dial 911? Yes, they showed us at school. Then do it now, and there's no need to tell Mommy. I guess that's it. Thank you all for listening.